Hope everyone's having a great day today. We are back at St. Mary's in Rock Island, Illinois. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of our liturgical books. We're going to start with the Roman Missal. It's that big red book that we use in the front for all of the prayers during the Mass. We'll also look just briefly at a little bit of a smaller red book that we've been using. It's called Excerpts from the Roman Missal. Let's take a look inside these books. Let's take a look inside the Roman Missal. You see here on the front a cross with, in the bottom panels, what looks like the host and the chalice. And then at the top we have the Alpha and the Omega. The beginning and the end of the Greek letters of the alphabet refers to Jesus, who encompasses all things, beginning and the end. These books always have such beautiful decorations inside. You can see here another chalice and host. It's decorated so nicely. In the beginning of the book, table of contents, there is a long instruction for the Mass, all of the little details, all the things that would be needed for the prayers of the Mass. And then the book itself is divided into several sections. We've got Advent, Christmas, Lent, Easter, Ordinary Time, and all of the prayers are there for the Mass each day. A couple things that I will show you a little more closely. This is looking at the beginning of the second Eucharistic prayer. You can see here in the book that we have printing in both black ink and red ink. The red are the instructions for what the priest should do. The black are the words that the priest should say. So if we look down here towards the bottom of the page, it says, he bows slightly and then says, take this, all of you, and eat of it. And so those instructions are what help the Mass to be universal, to have the same structure and the same details, those same words and gestures throughout the world wherever we are. It's one of the great joys of our universal faith is that the Mass is always the same, no matter what the language is. There might be differences in music or decorations, but the essentials of the Mass are always going to be the same. If we continue through the look at the Roman Missal, there's a section for the saints. You can see on this page, I've got it marked here for April 29th, for St. Catherine of Siena. If we go a little bit further, we have the section that is called the Commons. So if a saint day doesn't have specific prayers, we can choose from those that are commonly used for different saints. And so this one happens to be the page for the Mass for one pastor. So this would be for a priest or a bishop that does not have his own prayers. There are lots of different Masses, lots of different choices that a priest can have. So on particular days, we have Masses that are prescribed, that need to be said. On other days, the priest has some options. We can choose different Masses. If we go on to continuing the book, there's a section for weddings, there's a section for funerals, and then towards the very end of the book, there's some extras, things that we might need here and there. I've got my own little blue tab I added for the rite of blessing and sprinkling of holy water. So this is the Roman Missal. It really contains almost everything we need for the Mass, except for the readings from Scripture, and we'll take a look at those books as well. This is just a brief look at the smaller book, the Excerpts from the Roman Missal. This contains all of the prayers that the priest would say either at the very beginning or at the very end of the Mass. And so you'll notice here, I have it open to the fourth Sunday of Easter. It has the entrance antiphon, reminds us to say the Gloria, the collect, the opening prayer, and then the prayer after communion, and then directions for where the blessing would be. So this book has the prayers that are usually said at either the celebrant's chair or out in front of the altar. And it's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, so it'd be a little bit easier for the altar servers to hold and to manage.